realize that you still have possession of the mayor's cat. Darn right I do. He's not taking my babies. If he tries, I am going to skin him alive. I will push this power washer somewhere it should never go. And then I will pull the trigger and hold it indefinitely. Hey guys, we're back with more Power Wash Simulator 2 and back to our sweet little babies. Hello babies. Hello Ulysses. We kind of took a little break from this to play the winter levels in Power Wash Simulator 1, and now we're back to see what else this whole county has to offer, starting with the Nouveau house. Oh, you're fantastic. This house has been a blight on the street for ages. Honestly, if he wasn't such a good lawyer, we'd sue him for a lost valuation to our collective property. To mention the damage he's doing to Muckingham's chance of becoming Town of the Year. Barclay Street is front and center of the mayoral processional route, and as I'm sure you're aware, don't worry about getting evicted. We've checked all the local bylaws. It's perfectly legal for you to be here, so let's get washing. Oh, that worries me so badly. Like, yes, I agree. Compared to the other houses that are, like, right here by this guy, it is an eyesore, but still, we're basically going in and cleaning somebody's house without their permission. We are absolutely gonna get sued for this one. Hey, baby, here to keep us company again. Thank you. There's my other baby. Hello, Squeak. Oh, you're just the cutest. I'm sure Bubbles around here somewhere. There you are, baby, hiding under the bench. You're such a cute baby. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Okay. Kitties have been pet. All is right with the world. Okay. So trying to think about how I want to tackle it. I think I'm going to start with the side here and then work my way around. Let's see first, though. Oops. I've gotten so used to the controls on the other game. I'm getting used to this again. Okay. And then... yeah, that's the big one. Alright, let's see how... okay, this honestly isn't too bad. Oh, Harper. Wait, Wishy, you know whose house you're cleaning, right? I don't know, some lawyer last I heard. I am just doing a job, and if somebody wants to persecute me for it, then, well, I'm going to direct them to the people who said they got the permits. Okay, yeah. I was wondering for a second if I was going to need the soap for this, but honestly, this is the flat one's handling it pretty well. See how much I can get before I have to get one of the ladders involved. Yes, I know the ladders are more efficient, but let me play my way, darn it, Mom. Okay. Honestly, I still think this flat washer was a great long-term investment. It cuts through stuff like this just as easily as the soap does. So I am not complaining. Alright, that's the window done. Only thing that's a little bit awkward with trying to use it is that it's a little unpredictable with how it will, whether it will adhere to the surface or not. But, nah. It's still manageable. Alright, let's get the other one out. Zaxian Lesage, the legendary lawyer. Apparently, they were all set to take down the mayor years ago. But after being foiled by a dirty jury, he got so disillusioned that he went into seclusion and has been there ever since. Oh boy. That's gonna bode well for how well I'm gonna survive this if he decides to come out and rage at me for cleaning his house for him. Let's see. Okay, that one does not have an extra long reach. Neither does this one. Why is it extra long for the flat one? Makes no sense. Oh well. I'll at least use this to get a couple little spots down here before I move on to the next side. Whoop. And this at least gives me a good vantage point for the top here. Get the last little edges. So how have you guys been since the holidays? I know things are slowly calming down. Everybody's kind of going back to work. They're getting ready for New Year's and all that. I've kind of just been getting through the last of the major holiday traffic at the arcade, which isn't too bad, all things considered. It's a lot of just like last minute stuff, people trying to get in their last big hurrahs and whatnot before they go back to work, and mostly school for a lot of people. And a lot of kids just coming in and goofing around, having fun. But not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, I think honestly I could reach the last of it with this. That's the only reason why I like the red nozzle. It may not get the most surface area done, but you cannot argue with the results. Oh, did not mean to do that. Now, what am I missing up here? It's gonna turn out to be something where I'm not gonna see it until I get up there and like see the very top of. Oh, nope, there we go, got it. Nice. Guess I'll go ahead and get this whole side done while I'm right here. At least as much of it as I can reach. And honestly, that's not bad. We got all this done without even needing to go up any higher to the top. Okay, it's a little bit on the insides there. And yeah, some right there. There we go. Alright, honestly, not bad. Might as well go ahead and get this part taken care of too while we're right here. Nice, one right after the other. Okay. Alright, on to the next, Seriously, dude. I get that you're supposed to be some kind of mysterious recluse, but yeah, this is kind of gross and depressing. Like, I would definitely never say that you should force a cleaning service onto somebody if they haven't explicitly said they want it, but they haven't felt like they've had the energy or motivation to do it. Because that is a very easy way to get yourself sued. Like those people who call, like, tree removal companies because they don't like the tree themselves, and they call them when the person is out of town or something. And then both them and the company are surprised when they get sued. So, trying to just make sure that's fully clean. Okay, yeah, that is cool. Yeah, it's sad to see how often that sort of thing happens, where people aren't aware of how serious tree law is, which if you don't know about tree law, oh, you need to check out Reddit at some point. Not like all the Reddit forums, because some of them are kind of bad and kind of freaky, obviously, but I would definitely recommend checking out r/tree law, because there's a lot of interesting things there. People kind of just think trees are plants like any other plant, but there's actually a ton of laws regarding trees, and big ones being that you can't just cut down somebody else's trees, because trees are worth a ton of money. Some more so than others, obviously, but yeah, you gotta be careful cutting down trees, that because some of them can end up putting you into debt or even complete bankruptcy because of how much value they add to a property and how much the wood is worth. Wishy, do you think I should ask Xavian if it's okay to be here? Oh, we're already getting through a lot of it. My golden rule is never get on the bad side of good people. I'll reach out. Aw, thanks, Harper. Thanks for looking out for me. Let's see. I'm trying to tell if this... It's hard to see, like, where the spots are on this thing, because it's hard to tell what's a shadow and what's a spot. And also the fact that this frame is counted separately, but this one isn't. It's a little bit weird. Alright, on to the next one. Harper's being a good friend looking out for us. But, yeah. Tree law is the perfect thing to check out if you ever want just like a good vendetta / justice boner. Just like, yes! Vindication! Get the entitled a-holes! Because that's almost always what it ends up being. It is rarely ever a case of somebody genuinely being like, oh, it was gonna fall on your house and you were away, so we had to have it cut down. No. Like, the vast majority of the time, it is a case of entitled neighbor, relative, whatever, was just being an absolute dick about it because they hated the person, they hated the tree, what have you. They thought the tree was an eyesore, etc., etc. And, you know, instead of accepting that the person did not agree with them and didn't want to get rid of the tree, they felt like, well, because I don't like it, that means it can come down, because only what I want matters in this life. And then they find out the hard way that, no, you cannot just take away a piece of somebody's land and expect to get away with it consequence-free. I have seen stories of people being sued for millions, if not billions of dollars. Because, one, trees add a lot of property value, because not everybody likes the bare look on their landscape. Heck, a lot of times people buy property because of how the trees shade everything. And if you get rid of the trees, then you're changing the look of it completely. Oh, there you go. Not to mention, it's affecting your power bill if it was one that was directly shading your house. And as I mentioned earlier, there's also the value of the wood to consider. It can seem like an inconsequential thing, but if you're talking like some really valuable rare trees, like certain types of oaks, then yeah, that can be thousands of dollars just for one section of the tree's wood. And if you don't save it and give it to the person, which most of them aren't going to, because again, they're doing something that is illegal and unwanted. So they're a lot of times just going to have the whatever company they hire, whatever cousin with a chainsaw or whoever they hire to just throw the wood away. So then you've also, at that point, stolen their property. Oh, Harper's here with the update. Xavier Lesage, it's an honor. We just want to make sure that we're fine being here today. I'll admit that when you first started working, I was tempted to open a window, holler Person versus Kinski 1975 at you and get you escorted from the premises. Which you would totally be within your right to do. Actually, I'm quite enjoying the ambience. Oh, okay, that's good at least. Alright. Rest of that I can save for when I get higher up there. So hooray, we're not being arrested today. That is a win in my books. Any day where I don't go to jail. Because, yeah, this is the sort of service you don't just spring on somebody if you can help it. Again, unless they have specifically stated something like, I know I need to power wash the sides, I need to clean the sides of my house, but I just have not had the time or energy, or I've been too depressed to do it. Because depression is a real thing that makes it a bitch to try and get out of bed sometimes and do the cleaning that you know needs to be done, but it's just hard to find, like, you know it needs to be done, but there are days where it can be hard to find the motivation. I know that's something that quite a few people in my life have gone through, and there are some of them who are still going through it very heavily. And it has its good days and its bad days. Some where it's easier to get out of bed and do stuff than others. And it's one of those things that a lot of people take for granted. And if they don't understand how depression works, how it messes with your head to such an extent, then a lot of times they just call it people being lazy or looking for an excuse. When it is not. It is literally your own brain and body fighting against you, making you feel like you can't do anything. And for anybody who is going through that or who has gone through that, I'm sorry for that, and I do hope that it's gotten better for you or that it will get better. And it does eventually. It's a long road, but and I know it can feel really, really difficult to manage some days, but if you have made it this far, then I am proud of you, and like I said, I do hope it gets better for you. I may not deal with that too much. My problems are more based in anxiety, but I know that you're trying, and I know that sometimes it can be really frustrating when everybody else just seems like they're wanting to talk down to you over it. But you are valid for needing the time to focus, needing time to rest, and sometimes just having bad days, because they happen to all of us. And I'm sorry that some people may lack empathy sometimes for that. But, yeah. For things like this, yeah, there are times where there are people who have trouble keeping up with cleaning and all that because of their depression. And if you have somebody in your life who is like that, and of course always clear it with them first, just be like, hey, I know you've been having a rough time lately. Do you want me to swing by and help out, or do you want me to send somebody to help out? And don't do it in a patronizing way. Oh, Jeff, Dirt Finder, our mutual cleanup of the county continues apace. How soon can you get to the recreation grounds? We're doing a freaking Zeppelin blimp, whatever you want to call it. I always forget the difference between the two of them. Sometimes I think it's just the pretentiousness and some people using the word incorrectly. But anyway, yeah. I have had friends who have had depression and who still deal with it. And there are some times where they do want just like a little bit of help, where it's like they've been caught in a funk for so long that they don't always even, sometimes I've had friends who don't even really want somebody to do it for them, but just having somebody there to talk to while they do it helps, because it's like for some of them it gives them a reason to want to get it done. It's kind of a like, well, they're right there and I asked them to come over to help with this, so I have to get it done. It can be hard, for some people it can be hard to rationalize it, to get it done, if it's just you yourself who's being impacted by it. But if it's getting somebody else involved, that's where it can make a difference. And again, I don't deal with depression like that, but I do understand the logic behind that, because sometimes I have certain chores that, I'll be honest, I put off until I know that, like, my sister or my partner or somebody's gonna be coming over, or heaven forbid, my parents. Which thankfully, when they do come, they usually, like, they're just picking me up for something or we're going somewhere, so they don't typically come inside my place. But it's that panic moment of, oh no, they're going to see how bad everything is. I have plastic bottles that I haven't tossed out yet. No! Things like that. But like, that gives me motivation to clean. But there have also been more extreme cases where, like, I have needed to pack up my stuff for when I was moving, like going from one arcade to another. And I had trouble concentrating and staying focused when it was just me alone having to, like, yes, I knew I needed to get it done, but it felt like there were just so many things that I had to get done that it was hard to keep myself on task. So I would have my partner or my sister come over, and having them there, even when they didn't do anything to help, not to say they weren't offering or they weren't doing anything, but like, even just having one of them sitting on my bed and talking to me helped keep me focused, because I was having somebody to talk to kept me from focusing on what I was doing too much, so I wasn't overthinking it. It also helps that I can also detect from the manner in which you clean that the first 49% of my house that you intend to do a thorough job. I take my work seriously. I'm glad to see this guy's happy with what we're doing, at least. But yeah, so having one of them there to talk to while I did it helped me stay focused, because the conversations kind of served as a distraction from what I was doing, I guess. But also, in my head, I was like, well, they came here to help me with this, so I have to do it. They took time out of their day, out of their schedule to come here and see me and help me. So for me, that helps as a motivator, and I have had some friends with depression who have felt that way too. Again, I don't get it to the extreme that they do, but I get it, so I don't mind being that for friends when they need it. And sometimes there really are people who just, even if they have the company there, still really do need a hand with it. So if you feel like you've got a friend who's going through it, do not be afraid to reach out to them, because chances are that if it's to the point where people are starting to notice it, that it might be something that they need help with. And again, do not be pushy, do not be condescending about it. Just something as simple as, hey, I noticed that, or I noticed that this is looking a little rough. Do you want a hand with cleaning it sometime? Or just like if they, or like, hey, you've been complaining a lot about this not getting done. If you want, I can come over, we can work on it a little bit, and then we can go do something fun, or we can order in some pizza or whatever. Sometimes even just reaching out and giving that offer is enough to show somebody that you're thinking about them. And that can go a lot further than you think it would. But all that is to say, at the end of the day, do not surprise somebody with power washing their freaking house unless you know it's something that they have asked for help with, or that they have stated previously that they would like to have it done. It kind of rates right up there with giving somebody a pet for a present, like a new cat or a new dog or something. Unless you know for a fact that they want this pet. Like they've always talked about, oh my gosh, I would love to have a golden retriever puppy, but I've never had the money for it, or something like that. Do not just give somebody a random frickin' pet. Okay. I think that's everything on this side. Okay. Yeah, don't just surprise somebody with a random freaking pet for Christmas or their birthday or whatever, unless you know they want it. And if you are going to do that, please, like, again, only if they want it, but if you are going to do that, please take care of, like, the basic stuff, like, the very bare bones basic stuff that's gonna need money to take care of. Like, get them a couple of things to start off with, like, if they don't, assuming they don't have any of this already, get them stuff like, if it's a dog or a cat, get them food or water bowls, maybe like at least one bag of food to start off with, so they're not having to rush to the grocery store immediately after the party to get food so their pet doesn't starve. If you can't afford it, try and go ahead and get the like, if it's for somebody who hasn't had the money for a pet for a while, try to help out with some of the first expenses, like their first vaccinations if you can, because that can really help a lot. So, like, first vet visits, vaccinations, so that way the pet remains a joy for a while instead of instantly turning into a financial responsibility that they haven't had time to save up for. Because, yes, it's very cute and very sweet, but you want that to stay a happy thing for as long as you can. You don't want it to, like, by the next day turn into, oh gosh, how am I going to feed them? I've got to take them to the vet, all that stuff. Be thorough in your gift. And if you don't want to pay for all of it, then get other people involved in it. Get friends or family together, and only if they're good at keeping the secret, of course. Be like, hey, so-and-so has said that they really, really want a puppy, so I'm gonna get them one for this day. If you guys want to help out with, like, with food or with, I think the rest of that's gonna be on the top, but with food or toys or a pet bed or something like that, let me know. Okay, I think that's everything. Now we just gotta go up to the top. Let's start with, I think, really just back here. Yeah, I don't really have anything I can use to just jump up onto there. Did I bring my regular ladder? Yes, I did. Perfect. But yeah, it's a sweet gesture, but you just gotta make sure that you're following up in a way that doesn't make it an inconvenience for the person you're giving it to. For instance, I have a personal pet peeve against people who, how to put it, people who give fish as a gift and think that they only need to give the plastic bag or a cup or something that the fish comes in. Like, all of those people who get, oh, look, you said you like fish. I got you a pretty little betta fish or a goldfish. And then you just, that's it. That's all you give them. If you do that, you are a horrible and lazy person because you are making that fish suffer. Because chances are you're not giving them a tank to go with it. Or if you are, you're just giving them a bare essentials bowl. Fish need more than that to survive long term, people. You need something to clean and filter the water. They can't just breathe the same dirty water constantly. That'd be like you breathing in the same building full of air with no new air being pumped in. Eventually, it's going to become very stagnant. It's going to get very warm, and it's going to be nothing but your breath being breathed back at you endlessly. Seriously, do not be that person. I have memories from a long time ago when my cousin got a betta fish, and they never got a proper enclosure for that poor thing. Now, I don't blame my cousin for this because she was really, really young at the time. Like, younger than 10 level young. And I blame my aunt more than her for that one. So they never got a proper enclosure. They kept it in a really tall, like, not a wine glass, but like one of those plastic monstrosities you'll see a really fancy mixed drink in, especially for like Mardi Gras or something. But yeah, just a really, really tall cup, essentially. And they put some fake rocks at the bottom of it, and that's all they did. That poor thing was just swimming in the tiniest little circle it could, and my mom and sister and I, we did our best to oh, darn it. We did our best to try and help the poor thing live, but there's only so much you can do. And it's like, by the time we got it, it was already, like, the time we were asked to help out with it, it was already starting to discolor. Parts of its tail were missing because it didn't have a proper area to swim in, so part of it just kept, like, if you've never seen betta fish, they have these really long, flowy tails. But yeah, that poor thing did not last long, and it was sad to see. We tried to give it as good of a life as we could towards the end, but it was too late. And I just, like I said, because of that, I just have a personal peeve and grievance with anyone who thinks it's okay to just keep a fish in a glass or a cup or a very small bowl. Get them a freaking tank if you care about them even a little bit. If you don't, then they're not a pet to you. They're a centerpiece. They're a prop. And fish deserve to be taken care of just like any other pet, if you're actually wanting it to be a pet. And that's the problem with a lot of people. They have this mentality of, oh, fish don't need as much care as you and I do. Or as a cat or a dog. Hey, they just stay in place all the time. No, they don't. They swim around. They move. They are very active creatures. And if you think that's okay, then let's see you take a cat and keep it trapped in one room its entire life. and see how it'll handle that. It does. Spoiler alert for anybody who's never had an indoor cat like that. It does not go well. They get stir crazy. They start pacing, and even if you have toys and things for them to play with in there, it's not going to work long term because they're going to get bored of the toys. They're going to get bored of the room. They're going to put on so much weight because it's not healthy for them to be confined like that. And I have seen this sort of thing short term because one of my best friends years ago, they lived with their mom for a while because economy expensive and all that. Okay, that should be all of this part. And at one point, them and their mom, they got placed together with one of their mom's longtime friends. And that friend did not believe in having indoor cats. She had an outdoor cat. And she did not like the concept of cats being indoors. She didn't like taking care of them or the kitty litter or anything. Curious. Several hairs from a British short hair transferred from your person to my windowsill. It appears that you still have possession of the mayor's cat. Darn right I do. He's not taking my babies. If he tries, I'm going to skin him alive. I will push this power washer somewhere it should never go. And then I will pull the trigger and hold it indefinitely. Anyway. But, yeah. So because that friend didn't believe in having indoor cats and didn't want to put up with it, my best friend and her mom had a pair of cats at the time. The cats were siblings from the same litter. And they basically had to keep the cats confined to their mom's room. And you could tell that the cats were getting bored out of their mind, and they went from, because I knew these cats since they were kittens, they went from being these pretty average looking cats to being super overweight over the course of like a year or two of them living there together. And the cats just always were laying around looking so bored because the furthest they could go was they were in the mom's room, and occasionally when the other roommate wasn't home, they would there was like a little sectioned off hallway that led directly to my friend's room, and they would occasionally open that up so the cats could go between the two rooms. But yeah, it was not enough for the cats to get any sort of proper exercise or moving around or anything. Needless to say, they did not end up staying with that woman very long term. I think they were still friends by the end of it, and there were a lot of other problems with living with her, for starters being that she would hide bills. Like, don't know if it was always intentional or not, but it was like, if she got home and she got the mail, she would take the bills and just not share them or not pay them. Oh. Yeah, Xavion, about that. The mayor's been demanding Ulysses back. Where did he stand? Yay, free legal counsel! Well, did you have an official transfer of guardianship? If not, then I'm afraid he has a case. Darn it. What if we cry animal abuse? Oh, no. Oh, no, he didn't. Okay, thanks. He's not taking my babies. I will fight him on this. To the death. I'm not afraid to go to jail for these cats. I know I said earlier that any day I can stay out of jail is a good day, but I will go to jail for the animals. He does not deserve the cats. He didn't even care about them for the longest time. He only cares now that he's campaigning and doing political stuff. That's like those parents who only care about their children when they need them for PR. It's disgusting. Okay, I think that's everything on this side of the roof. At least I'm pretty sure it is. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well. Oh, I missed a spot. Whoops. Well, that actually was a good thing that we fell down there. Alright, up we go again. Oh, no, I got up so easily last time. Why is it fighting me? There we go. Alright, yeah, I think that's everything on that side. So, let's get to all of this. Yeah, sorry I've kind of been going on random venting rants about that stuff. I take animal care very seriously. It's one of the reasons why, even though I love my cat, I leave him to stay with my parents and my sister, because I know that realistically, I would not be able to give him the care and attention that he needs to be happy. One, I don't think I could afford it. Two, it would cost too much to try and keep him here. And then three, I work a lot. And cats are very social creatures. I'm a firm believer that if you have a cat, you either need to have a good schedule that will allow you to be home fairly frequently so that you can interact with and play with them, or you need to have somebody else willing to help care for the cat, and or another cat to keep them entertained, because cats are social creatures. And there's a lot of people I know out there who are like, oh, but, you know, cats don't really care. They don't need people. They don't love you. And you're an idiot if you think that. Point blank, not apologizing. You're an idiot. Cats have feelings just like any other living creature does. Heck, fish have emotions. There are even fish out there that like being pet and cuddled. Obviously, you can't take them out of the water, but have you ever seen koi fish in a pond? There are some that have become so socialized to people that they actually enjoy it when people come over and start and like reach in and pet them. They will rub their sides against it because they like that sensation, just like any other animal does. Oops, wrong one. There we go. And cats are no different. In fact, cats need even more attention because they're used to the physical affection. Like I said, I take animal care very seriously. If you don't think that you are able to give an animal the time, love, resources, and things that they need to be happy, then unfortunately you shouldn't be trying to care for it. If you have people who are willing to help support you, that's another story. If you have friends and family who are able to help out or watch the cat for you if you go out of town a lot, if somebody's willing to assist you with veterinary bills and whatnot, and all that, then cool, that's one thing. But if you know that you do not have that pool of resources, let's see, I need to go back to the stubby gun, then yeah, it's not going to be good for you or for the cat. Oops, wrong thing. But yeah, it's not going to be good for you or for the cat or any animal really, to be stuck in that situation. There we go. frame. Okay, that's everything on this side. Now, whoop, onto the balcony. And I definitely understand it. I miss my cat so freaking much. I miss his dumb little face and him always getting into trouble. But I know that realistically he is better off and happier in a house where he can get constant love and attention. Because my sister is home, both of my parents are retired at this point, and yeah, I still get to see him whenever I go to visit them at the house. I love getting to see him for Christmas when I went over recently. But I would rather do right by my animal than... Also, how is this so red? Did somebody, like, try to graffiti this place? What the heck? I just noticed all these colors. There are no red trees or anything that should be red up here. And purple. There's purple here, too. What the heck, man? What did you do on this balcony? It's not brownish red, so I don't think it's blood. So I don't think he's doing human sacrifices in a bid to get a demon's assistance getting back at the mayor or anything like that. But, But anyway, yeah. I get to see my cat whenever I go to visit my family. Occasionally my mom or my dad will send me pictures or videos of him doing something stupid. Because as much as I love my cat, I am fully aware that he is a tiny little moron. He is definitely one of the least intelligent cats we have ever owned. And yes, he is an orange and white cat, if that helps with anybody who knows about orange cat energy. But, yeah, I miss him. And I do wish that I could live with him again. But until either I get to a point where I could afford having him and having a place to live where he would be safe, or a job where I could be home with him more often, or if I get a roommate. I think I've said before that right now it's kind of a race between my partner and my sister for who can get a good job first, so that way I don't have to live here at the arcade anymore. But until then, it's kind of just gonna have to stay there. If I did live with one of them, that would be a different matter, because then at least somebody would be around to spend time with him. And if my sister came, she would bring her cat, so that would be even more socialization for him. Because I think they would be sad if they were apart from each other with no one else to play with. Even if my sister's cat is more the annoyed, why is this little shit trying to pounce on me type, she would miss him a little bit. But as long as she was still living with my sister, she'd be happy. I've mentioned before, I think, that my sister's cat is very much her cat, whereas my cat is a people cat through and through. He doesn't care who's there, as long as he's got somebody who will pet him, whose lap he can sit and lay on. He is content. You can pick him up, toss him around, whatever you want. He don't care. He just likes the attention. My sister's cat, however, will only allow that from my sister and nobody else. Trying to pick her up if you are not my sister, death sentence. I spent a lot of time around that cat when she was a kitten, so I am privileged enough that if I need to, I am allowed to pick her up long enough to get her out of my sister's room and deposit her on the living room couch or love seat. And then I immediately need to put her down and back away before she loses her temper on me. But that is the most I am allowed to get away with. Anybody else tries that, they're getting a hissing ball of claws and fur in their arms. My sister, however, she can literally carry that cat like a sack of potatoes. The cat will not care. She'll just dangle there and be like, okay, it's mom, so whatever. Rest of us be damned. That is her cat, through and through. And also, her favorite place to be, above all else, is absolutely just laying on my sister's bed. My sister, even if she's not in the room, will sometimes just leave the door to her room open so the cat can go in there and just lounge on the bed because she knows it's the cat's favorite spot. Okay, top part's done. Almost done with the roof, too. Nice. But, yeah, anybody else tries to pet that cat, they will only get away with it if either my sister is charging or if she is actually in my sister's room. If she is in the room, you may pet her because she is content. That is her safe space. Otherwise, you're lucky if you get a sniff or a little tiny brush against your hand. Entrance piloster base. Where is that? Whoop. I missed a spot there. Alright, that's everything. Let's see how it looks. This is the one thing I kind of wish we could... Oh, you can see the cat moving on the side. That's nice. But yeah, what I do kind of wish is that you could see other sides of the house while you're cleaning it. So that would be cool. Like, you could rotate the image or something. I was rather hoping to employ the hilarious refrain, "You've missed a bit," and back it up with the photographic evidence, but you didn't, so I can't. Impressive. Xavian. Oh, that's nice, at least. At least he was okay with us going in and doing that. You know what? I don't think I've checked the store in a bit. We got a minute, so anything new? Oh, rustic sofa. And a gothic chair lounge. Ooh, that would actually go really well with that futuristic set. You know what? Sure, I'll go ahead and get that. Just because I still got a few minutes left in the video, we can go ahead and do that to end off. Let's see. Oh yeah, I still got some leftover furniture I never got before. Alright, start with this guy. I also question why we are power washing what appears to be, I'm guessing, some kind of leather. Because I don't think leather reacts very well to being blasted with water. I might be wrong, though, but, To be fair, though, we did do the same thing with a completely cloth sofa. Those cushions have gotta be moldy and soggy from all that. Let's see, get down into the crevices. Get up on top of here. Okay, let's get the other side. Alright, do I need to get the bottom of it? Come on. What am I missing? Ah, here we go. A little bit around the bottom of this cushion. A little bit on the back of the chair. It's all these little tiny spots, and because the chair is already so dark, you really can't tell it. Alright, let's put you over by this stuff. Why can I not put stuff on the rug? That is so freaking dumb. I can put it over there, though. There. Get this moved just a little bit. Alright. Let's see, what else can it clean up? I do have that rustic chair. And also the... You know, let's do the retro tables, that way we can put it with the other stuff. This one's pretty tiny. That's another side down, another side. Get the bottom of that. There we go. Oh. Give me that. And let's see. Can I maybe put you over here? Here. There. The placement with these things is so annoying. Alright, next one. Let's go ahead and get another chair out. Oh, you are a tiny chair. Either that or I'm just like freaking huge. Alright. This chair looked a lot whiter in the picture. Though I guess we probably shouldn't expect too much, since I'm pretty sure we are resourcing these from landfills. At least this one's... There we go. I was gonna say, at least this one's easier to see the dirt on than the freaking, Come on, brain work. Than the freaking... Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty good. Actually, can I push back just a little bit than the black chair was? That's what I was trying to say. What about over here? There we go. Get a nice little view out the windows while you're reading. Or get blinded by the sun, whichever. Alright, and one last piece of furniture to end the video on. I just don't want to start the Zeppelin yet, because I was already at 50 minutes after finishing the house, but I didn't want to end the video too soon. So I figured this would be a good use of our time. Just get new furniture put out, a little bit of redecorating. Just have some fun, you know? And sometimes it's nice to unwind after a big job like that. Go off on a calmer note, you know? Alright, let's see. Yeah, I gotta get all up in there. And I'm immediately gonna plug this in with no fear of plugging in an electrical device that was just thoroughly doused in water. Because consequences be damned. Let's put you here for now. Because, yeah, these two are part of the same set. Those go together. All of this, of course, goes together. I'm not sure if I get some more gothic stuff, so I might move it to later. Because I feel like that fits better than the futuristic chair does. But, meh. Until we'll see what else we unlock later in the furniture catalog. Because, yeah, the rustic shelving, I have no idea why that thing is so freaking expensive, unless that is a giant freaking shelf. And then we'll try and get the sofa next time, probably. I don't think we really unlocked anything new here. Yeah, they don't really have anything, like, you can click on this, but there's, like, nothing you can do with any of these. It just kind of is. And I will say that eventually I want to work on getting another big washer. But we're definitely still a little ways off from our next big upgrade. But until we get the funds to unlock all of that, and until we start on the Zeppelin next time, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye!
Aw, game over already? Don't worry, there's always more fun to be had later. If you enjoyed your stay, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you! you for visiting Arya's Arcade. Bye-bye!